Jen Nyx, what's going on? How are you? Great to have you.
Hello, Mr. Amato. How are
Good
you?
to see you. How you been?
Good.
Good.
Doing well.
So we're going to cut right into this because we don't have a lot of time. Most likely the story's going to be so good, we're going to have you come back for 2 or 3 more times. So
Okay, sounds good.
just go with the flow here. So let's start with this. Where'd you grow up?
Long Island. I've always lived on Long Island my whole life. Deer Park is where I grew up.
And where'd you go to school?
Deer Park High School. I'm a high school graduate, so I didn't attend any
Didn't go to
college.
college?
No, I did not.
Okay. So then tell me your story. Like growing up, you grew up in Deer Park. You went to high school. What did you do? Like, what was your first career? Was it always real estate, or?
So I was a secretary. I became a secretary right after high school. Actually, during high school, I took all these, steno courses and typing courses and business administration courses and stuff. And I wanted to go to school. It just didn't happen. I was not a good student. That's really the truth. I was not a good student. But for some reason, in the business administration field, I seemed to do really well. So I became a secretary. I was a secretary for about 11 years. And then I
Really?
became an executive secretary for a construction company. So I did that for some time.
What company?
Bay Crane.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bay Crane. They were in Long Island City,
Long Island
also
City,
in
that's right.
Hicksville. Yes,
That's
yes.
right, they were-
I started with them when I was 19 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I'm really good friends. I mean, I haven't kept in touch for a while, but I do reach out to them every so often. I have a lot of people that I stayed in touch with.
They were like 11th Street, right, or something like that.
They were in, oh my gosh, they were right over the 59th Street Bridge in Long Island City.
Yep.
I can't even think, 1102. I
1102,
can't remember.
11th
Yeah,
Street, yeah.
okay.
11th Street, like-
Something. I can't remember the exact address. And we were also in, so I worked in Hicksville. I worked out of the Hicksville office.
Oh, you don't. The Cranes were, I guess, in 11th Street.
Yeah, so they had a couple of yards. I don't know exactly where the yard was at the time, but so that's
That's so funny.
yeah,
Wow.
crazy.
I know them
So,
well.
Yeah, so
And
I was
then,
in the construction world.
Good
dealing-
friend of mine, acquaintance now, but owned Unique Crane,
Oh, okay.
and they were in Astoria also. They were
Okay.
in Long Island
Oh,
City.
wow. Okay.
They were on 35th Avenue and excuse me, and 12th Street.
Our competition. Actually,
Yeah.
we didn't have competition.
No,
Bay
you
Crane
guys
is
crushed
the
it.
actual best. They actually every year they transport the tree for Rockefeller Center,
right.
which is really nice. Yeah.
Every year they do that.
Every
right?
year, still to this day.
That's right.
They do
and
it.
wasn't they the crane that? Wasn't it the one that went down in Midtown? Was it what it is?
Yeah,
Or
there was a couple of accidents. Listen, it's when you're high up in the air, the wind. There's certain things you just can't depend on.
that must be terrifying.
Yeah,
man.
it is really scary. Throughout the years when I was there were quite a few unfortunate accidents, but good insurance and all those types of things come into play.
How do those guys get? I can't believe they walk up those ladders and.
I can't even believe the work that they do. It's so frightening when when they would go out and take photos and tell me what they experienced. It's really frightening. It's really crazy.
My father got me into Local 1 elevators when I was a kid. After high school, I graduated. I finished high school. Went out before I went to college. He said, "You're not going to lay your ass on the couch. You're either going to go to work or get a job." So he got me into Local 1 elevators, and I remember going there. There was construction. And he was working on these elevators, and they said, "All right, go to the 40th floor."
Oh gosh.
And I'm like, "There's only 2
sounds
stories
frightening.
in the freaking building. What are you
Making me
talking about?
sweat.
There's 2 floors. There's no. What am I going to do? It's all steel." And I remember going up there, and I was like, they had this hoist and this cranes, and I was like, "This is crazy." I lasted maybe 6 months. I couldn't.
Oh,
drive
okay.
shit.
See, I thought you were going to tell me this great
Back
story.
to school, became a cop, and
How
that
you
was
were in
it.
the elevator union, all the
I
things
was.
you experienced.
I
Yeah,
was.
but you were. So at least you said you tried.
But I was,
Right?
I was only here for like 6 months to a year, and they were like, layoffs came, and I was able to stay because of who my father was at the time. And I was like, no, let me off. I'd rather collect unemployment. I don't want to be.
You're
It's
done.
too cold during the winter and too hot in the
You're
summer.
done.
And that's brutal work. I don't like heights either, so it's like
No, neither do I. It's not my thing. Or elevators. That's just like something I'm not really fond of.
even in a plane, I sit on the aisle seat. You'll never see me. On
Oh,
the
me
window
too. I
seat.
sit on the aisle.
Yeah, I wouldn't sit on the. If you ever get on a flight with me, I'm always on the on the aisle. I will never sit at the window.
What about the middle? I'll sit in the middle. I don't like the window though.
I don't like the window. I'm not a window guy. And
Yeah,
it's
I'm in
just
the
like-
middle or the end.
I always ask the person I'm sitting next to to lower it too, and they usually get pissed at me. So, for the light, no. I just
Well, who are
don't
you
like
kidding? You're in first class.
Well, that's, there's 2 seats.
So
I don't
even
know
in
what the
first
middle is.
class. Oh, so wait, there's 2 seats in first class.
2.
Okay, gotcha.
And then some of the flights now it's 2 and 1.
What do you-
Those are the beds.
Oh, I see. Right.
So you got 2 and 1, and like JetBlue is 2 and 1.
Okay.
I never got one of the ones, but Maybe next time I'll get one.
Well, yeah, maybe one day I'll be in first class.
The money you're making.
Oh, I don't know about that. We'll see. I'd like to hold on to it for something
You
else.
don't need to be a push tail because, Coach, you're okay. You're comfortable.
I'm comfortable, but there's something about. I'm not gonna lie. I was in first class twice. There's something about those hot hand towels, and it's kind of concerning. Like, why isn't the rest of the plane getting a hot hand towel? Like, why does everyone have to be dirty and just in first class you have to be clean? Gosh. Well, what about when you were a police officer? Like, I mean, you had to probably
Tell you
go
some
in
funny
some
stories on that.
unique buildings with heights and
So
for a different reason.
I'm in, I guess it was crime or snoo or whatever it was. We're chasing this guy and chasing him throughout the building. Finally, he ends up on the fire escape. We're running up the
gosh.
fire escape, and then there's a ladder that goes straight up on the end of the building. And he does that, and I stop. I was like, what the fuck?
We gotta keep
I was
going.
like, we'll get him later.
we
The
gotta
squad
capture
get him.
the guy
All
right
right,
here.
we're good. He's getting away. I'm not doing that. I'll go down, and I'll try to catch him below. I know what he looks like. We'll get him later. I did not mess around that. I'm not climbing up sides of the building. I saw one of the coolest things I saw.
That's funny.
My old partner will remember this. We were on 107th Street, I think. We were going out. We were doing warrants, and the guy scaled down the building.
Oh my, like Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, he literally was climbing down the building, and we were just like, "Whoa!" And then when I was in the South Bronx, I saw somebody tied. We're looking for this person, and he tied himself to the washer and dryer.
Where did they come up? What?
And he
For
put
what
all of these
reason?
sheets together, and he tried to scale the building, and he didn't make it. The guy, it was just like he
Watching
went
too
down
many-
6 flights.
Too many cartoons.
He literally tied him, and the sheet just snapped, and he went down the
that's
side of the
frightening.
building. It was kind of funny when you think about it. This guy's trying to get away. He was wanted for nothing. It was like stupid. That was when I was a rookie in the Bronx. That happened. So, with heights and all of that, like. I respect him. I'm not gonna mess around with that shit. I don't want to fall. I probably fell in my last life or whatever. Wasn't getting involved in that.
Something.
So you get into that world, and when did you leave and get into the real estate business? What'd you do after that?
Yeah,
Did
so,
you stay-
okay, so I have a unique story. So, I mean, I didn't get into real estate till I was almost 50 years old.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I thought you were still in your 40s. By
Oh,
the way. I'm
no.
dead serious. I really
Uh,
thought that.
I think we're the same age, Rich. I'm 54.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Shit, we are.
Yeah, I think I'm in October. I think you are too.
No, I'm August.
Oh, August. Okay. Okay.
Gotcha.
So, all right.
That
I'm older than you.
No, you're younger than me.
Oh, wait a
I'm
second.
August.
You're August, so you're going to be 55.
I'm gonna be 55.
Oh, that's right. Look at me. See?
It's all right.
Take-
You already said you want me a good
Scratch
student.
that
That's
out.
all right. It's okay.
Too
We got that
funny.
already.
Yeah,
We know
okay.
that. But all right.
Anyhow, so yeah,
I really didn't believe. I honestly thought you were 44, 45.
it's because of my height, probably. I'm 4'11".
Still growing.
Yeah, so
Yeah. You're 16.
that's probably why. Anyhow, so yes, I was a secretary. I had 2 children. It wasn't until my children were grown. I mean, but throughout the years, I had
How old are your children now?
26 and 23.
Still
Yeah,
babies.
so 2 girls. Yeah, 2 girls.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and I had a few careers. So I was a secretary. I also was a personal trainer. I owned a gym for a couple of years.
Oh, I did remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, it was just strictly one-on-one personal training. I was in the matchmaking field too for a
Oh, wow.
couple of years, so that was pretty unique.
Which one was the gym or the matchmaking? Which one would you
Which one was what?
better? Like more
Better, more
interesting?
lucrative or more interesting?
And both.
I would say the matchmaking was
Really?
way more interesting for sure.
How about lucrative?
Yeah.
More than the gym? Gyms are tough
No,
too, right?
the matchmaking was more lucrative for sure.
Had to be, right?
Yeah, it really was. So that was interesting, and I enjoyed that. It's actually where I call myself the real estate matchmaker.
That's interesting. I didn't know
Because
that.
it's relationships. Relationships come and go, and they change all the time. You might get into a relationship with someone, things don't work out,
My
right?
wife, 30-something
Yeah.
years. I'm not going anywhere.
Well, you probably dated before her, right? And maybe they didn't work out.
much,
and you knew.
I've been in 2 relationships.
Okay, so you met the one. Same thing like a house.
No doubt.
We're going to look for houses. You might fall in love with a house. It's not going to work out because you haven't found the one. So I kind of make it
88.
relatable.
1988, me and Diana got hitched.
When you got together?
Yeah.
Oh, so you were 18.
18.
Yeah. Wow. But that's when you got married?
I got married at 25.
Oh, okay. So you were together for a
7
couple of years
years.
then. Yeah. Okay. All that were you high school sweethearts?
Right at college.
Okay.
Well, she went to college. I went to John Jay. She went to Baruch.
Okay.
And then we were at one of my best friend's parties. That's how we met.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
Oh, that's
I drove
really
her and her
sweet.
friends home. I knew one of her friends, and I knew 2 of her friends. I didn't know Diana at the time, and somehow ended up. She was the last one out of the car.
Oh, okay.
So that's why she ended up with all of this, body by Burger King and ready to go. So, but no, so
You're too funny.
yeah, but the matchmaking field that would be kind of comical, I think, in a way.
Well, it's unique. It's unique in the way because it was.
I don't mean to make fun of it.
Yeah,
but
no. So I never met anybody in person, but I worked for 2 different companies, not at the same time. And I'd have to make phone calls, and just the relationships change all the time. We'd get some incoming leads, and then I would have a list of leads.
So what kind of matchmaking were you doing? Was it?
So basically, I was a dating consultant.
That's what I thought.
So yeah, so
Okay,
I
so it
would
was
call
a
people on-
job or something.
Yeah,
like
I worked from home. I had a home office. Excuse me, and I would make phone calls and just say hi. Are you single? No, I wouldn't say it like that. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. No, but I would have a list of people that maybe were old leads, and I would have to reach out to.
So this is before the internet, or
No,
I guess
yeah, this was about maybe 15 years ago.
so it's before the internet,
Yes,
basically,
yes,
right?
it was
Because
before.
again, I guess Match.com wasn't.
Yeah,
Really
the
out
internet was around, but it was a little bit different, No, Match.com was all these dating sites were totally around. They were.
Oh, they were.
But the uniqueness of it is that here's an opportunity where you can meet someone who's like-minded and wanting a relationship.
So I just
you know,
thought about
so-
that, and I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no.
'Cause this interested me back in the day. Was do you put them together like? I'm a Yankee fan. She's a Yankee fan, or do you go the opposite? That's a Red Sox fan and a Yankee fan, like because opposites attract, right? So is that what you look for,
Well,
or
there
do
was
you
a
look for the
questionnaire.
same exact thing?
So there was a questionnaire that I would go through to learn what their hobbies and their interests were, whether or not they went to school, what they do professionally. We, of course, would take into consideration things that they like to do, or, what is it that they're looking for in a relationship. And then, of course, we would take age into factor as well. Sometimes the men were, a little bit ageist, so I had to kind of, they
Again-
wanted to date someone 20 years younger, and I would say, well, what if you met someone who was on or about your age, or within a 10-year, age gap that fit your criteria? Would you be interested in meeting them? So, there was a lot of persuasion involved as
How many
well.
weddings do you think you created? Any? Or
Well, I don't. Well, personally, so it's interesting. Before I got into the matchmaking field, I did set some people up.
Okay.
When I was younger. Actually, my cousin, I set her up with someone, and she's still married to him, and
bless.
they're married 30 years already, and they have 2 kids. So I've had some. Listen. Once they're together, I can't control what happens. Relationships are relationships, anything can happen. But I also did some coaching, like relationship coaching as well too. So it was really an eye opener. And I'll tell you, it was helpful with me with my real estate business, because I used to have to make 100 phone calls a day. If I didn't close, or if I didn't sign someone up for the service,
don't get paid.
right? Yeah. So it's like if I made 40 calls, I might have had 2 good conversations that I would, get a commission, and then on the other days I'd make like 100 phone calls. So it was a little unique.
interesting. So
Yeah.
what was the gym like?
So the gym was strictly one-on-one personal training. I had a business partner at the time, and you could not join the gym unless you purchased a membership. So they would get one-on-one training. We would have like fitness assessments and stuff, and I had my own like fitness journey where I had lost a lot of weight. So I felt like it was. I was very comfortable proposing the idea of what getting fit is like, and getting the aspect of fitness and food all together, locked in together to get the best results. So
Pilates, working out, weight training.
yeah, it was just weight training. It was weight training, and we had some elliptical machine, and we had treadmills. But you could come in only if you were a member, but you couldn't use any of the equipment. Like you'd have to work with a trainer. You can use like the cardio equipment on your own, things like that.
Actually smart.
So yes, I had a business partner, and I think at the time I didn't realize, like they say, or what I got out of that is you shouldn't go into business with friends. You can go into business and make friends. So yeah, so I had a unique time when I left the business and I sold my shares, and I was being sued. So it was a process, and but it was a learning experience. I feel anything and everything in my life I'm learning. I feel like everything is a learning experience. So, and that's helped me too with my business, because I feel, I have a business mindset. I had an understanding, but I didn't want to be in business and have overhead anymore. I didn't want that responsibility.
Interesting. What was the overhead
yeah.
like in both the other end? Well, you didn't own the matchmaking.
No, I didn't own the matchmaking. Oh, the overhead. Well, you have insurance, and have just
For the gym, yes.
just the gym. Just forget it. Just the build out. I probably spent $130,000 with just the build out of the facility. It was crazy. It was crazy. Big investment.
I almost got into that field again with my aunt when we did the project in Pennsylvania. And you're right. The build out was incredible.
Yeah.
And the machines, I remember them saying all it's about is membership based.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for members that are not going to come. So
Oh yeah, that's the whole concept, really. But see, where the gym that I had, it was different. You know, we
Yours was
relied
different,
on them, you know, wanting to be results oriented and not the
Sure.
big gym feel. But I probably should have went into that type of gym anyhow.
You probably,
But-
again, buy as many machines and hopefully they don't get used so they don't break.
Right? Yeah.
And, you know, January's a tough month. I mean, a good month, but your tough month also because
Yeah.
everybody's there, everybody's breaking the machines and yada,
It's a
yada.
crazy world.
And then by January 20th, it's over and you're
Yeah.
writing out the rest of the year on all the success you had in January.
Exactly.
And then you don't
People,
let them
and
out.
it's hard for them to cancel their memberships. But
right.
and then after that, I became a holistic health coach because I really wanted to be more immersed in the aspect of nutrition. So I got involved with that.
What made you get into that? Just,
Well, I think for me, it was I always feel like I had, you know, I always had like a weight issue, up and down, up
Really?
and down. Yeah, I think so. Or really, I feel that way. So I just felt like I wanted to get a better understanding of like emotional eating. I think everybody's different. You know, we come from all different backgrounds. There's different ways of.
pasta's pasta, bread's bread.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
I
You know,
love it.
Yeah, so I just felt like it was important for me to. So I did health coaching for a little bit, and then I started working in the diamond industry. So I worked for Hellsberg Diamonds as an office manager for a little
Oh, wow,
bit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you know what, I can't say that really there was anything that, I was just all over the place. Then after that, after I left the gym, I
got
went
a
for the
lot in
diamond
common.
store. Yeah.
'Cause I worked for Kianka.
Oh, did you really? Oh, that's
Private
so
security
crazy.
for them,
Yeah, so that I really enjoyed. I especially like when I left because I got a 70% discount. And I just spent a lot of money, but on
Cartier
jewelry.
Party
Yeah.
what was their markup? Everything was 3 times, right? Diamonds were 3 times, if I remember correct. And then I remember like the stores like Cartier were like just ridiculously.
Yeah,
I remember going
it's-
to that holiday party and getting my wife a tank for like $400.
Wow, isn't that crazy? Back in the day, right? Yeah,
So crazy.
that's awesome.
So
Yeah. So
yes.
after that, then I started working in education, and I was at this company for a long time, Hunter Business School. So I started off as a career service advisor, and then I was promoted to a director of career services. So I used to help people find jobs in the field in which they've been trained. I did resume writing. I taught classes. I got people prepped and ready for their interviews. And I led a team of
well-versed.
people. Yeah, so it was interesting, not realizing that all of that really came full circle when I decided to get into real estate.
So what made you get into the real estate business? And when did you get in?
Yeah, so it was 2018 is when I was licensed. But what happened was my mom had passed away in 2017. And before she had passed, she would always say, you should get into real estate. You should get into real estate. Because my parents, we had to move them. They were not doing well. My mother had her mind, all her wits about it, but she had a lot of ailments. And my dad was suffering with a bit of dementia and Parkinson's disease. And we decided my brother and I, that they should sell their house. You know, they didn't like the idea. It took about a year. And throughout the whole process of selling
Deer
and
Park.
buying, yeah, in Deer Park, that's the house I grew up in. But it took a while, and it was just, I was so intrigued with real estate. I was so intrigued, but I knew I didn't have the time. I just didn't have time. I was helping my parents. I was working a full-time job. I was raising children. It just was too much. But after she passed, I'm not gonna lie, I was completely distraught when my mom passed. And my wife was like, you know what? I'm going to give you the money to take the real estate course, but I don't want you to tell anybody. Don't tell anybody, because she and my mom used to talk about that I should get into real estate. I just didn't have the time.
Your wife is the coolest person I ever met.
She loves you, yeah. Well, it's funny, when the first time you met her, before we went out, I said, Janine, watch what you say, because she's in construction. Things that come out of her mouth.
Best.
And then the two of you just went off in the corner. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, they're just like the stories and they're working in the city and forget it.
40
That's too
pods
funny.
under the fucking bridge.
Yeah, it's so crazy. She's like, that was great. I'm like cursing, the both of you with your mouths. I'm like, oh my God.
She's
It's
so
like,
awesome.
I think you're actually related to her.
I think probably, yeah. so
Too
go ahead.
funny.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, so I take the real estate course and I got licensed in 2018. But I didn't do anything. I just did like here and there, a little bit of this, a little
Where'd
bit
you
of
end
that.
up going first? What was the first?
First, I went to Coach. Oh,
okay, I didn't know that.
And yeah, my first deal, I had a really good first deal, but honestly, it wasn't for me. I left. And I went to Exit
Which coach were you in?
in Stony Brook, out by where I lived. And then I went to Exit. I went to
Was
Exit.
Culp there when you were there?
No. He's not. No, that was many, many years later. He was
Okay.
there.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
where he ended up going afterwards, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and they changed their name or something.
now it's Howard
Ho-Chan
Howard,
or
yeah.
something like that. So then I went to Exit Realty.
Which
And
one?
I was in Smithtown with Susan. You know
Yeah,
Susan,
of
right?
course.
Yeah.
Great people.
I had a great experience there. Then I went to Port Jeff Station. I was at that location too as well.
She owned that
I
one
think
also, right?
She was part owner. Yes. So there was another broker who was heading that. But it was a good experience. I did not have a good experience.
You don't mind
while
me
I was
asking,
there.
how many did Susan own? 3 or 4 or 2? Or what was that? Remember the number?
I know. Oh gosh. You know what? I know it was the 2. Maybe there was 3.
I thought there was 3
And she
or
might
4.
even still be part owner, to be honest with you. I know, she retired, but
Oh, she did retire?
Yeah, she did retire a couple of years ago. Yes,
bless her.
yeah,
Good
they
for her.
moved out of state. Yeah, I really haven't talked to her in a while. I should reach out to her though. But a good experience.
She was nice people. I liked her a lot.
Yeah, she was.
She was no nonsense too, right?
Yeah, she was. She was very good businesswoman. She really, really was.
I remember talking to her when I got into Exit my
Mm-hmm.
first time when I bought my first office. I wasn't the broker, but I was an investor in it. And I remember talking to her, and she pretty much laid the groundwork for me.
Yeah,
What to
no,
expect, what not to expect. This is the bullshit. This is not the bullshit. So she was. I liked her a lot. I still do. I
Yeah,
haven't
she
talked
came
to her
to
in
New
years.
York. She didn't know anybody, when she came to New York, and she just, she really made it on her own. I have to say, I was quite impressed with her, for sure.
I liked her, and I liked Benny also.
Oh, okay. I didn't really know Benny, to be honest with you.
Okay, Benny was Massapequa, I think, right?
I don't
In
know.
the Bronx or something
Yeah,
like that.
I think. Well, you were in Queens, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I did Exit, I was in Astoria.
Okay, I see.
So we did
I see.
Astoria.
When did you leave?
Exit? I was there maybe 6 months.
6
Maybe,
months?
yeah.
What
So I
I think
left-
it was longer.
No, I left in 08.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
Okay.
we bought. The interesting thing, and
So that
again,
was 10 years later.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was 10 years after.
Or
but-
9, me.
But it was interesting how we bought it. Originally, we had, and I don't want it to come negative or anything like this, but we originally had this territory,
Mm-hmm.
then it got shrunken down to this territory, then this territory, then this, and so it was just like, okay, I don't really give a shit about a territory. I can sell whatever,
Right,
it doesn't
right.
matter. And then I just the model for me just wasn't the same fit that Keller was, and that's why I made the move. But it was interesting. I liked it. I like Steve Morris. I like that whole. I think his name was Steve.
Yeah,
right?
Steve.
And then Tammy Burnell was awesome. It just wasn't the right fit for me. That's why Keller was just a better model for me at the time. So that's why I made the jump. And then the other interesting thing was they asked me later on to possibly be the regional owner for upstate New York,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and then possibly other plans. But it just wasn't my world. I was already ingrained in Keller, and that's how I ended up, with Element and all of that going into the Keller world. It was just I got the OP position offered to me, and that's where I
Wow.
went. But I think the world of the company. I thought it was a really good company. It's not about me, about you. What did you think about going to Exit now? So you get to Exit.
Yeah, so I was at
and-
Exit, had a good experience there. I really did. Yeah, when I was working part-time. I was only doing it part-time. But what happened for me, what changed for me, and this is really the biggest change for me in real estate. So my wife got a promotion, and she was going to be working at the Holland Tunnel as a Teamster foreman, and we decided to downsize with our house in 2020, so, during COVID. But it wasn't until the summer that we decided we were going to put money down on a new construction house. And then we decided to wait a couple of months because, new construction, it's not an overnight success, takes time. And we put our house up for sale in November. So we put our house up for sale in November. And we're trying to time everything just right. So by January, we had a lot of offers. It was the end of, you know what, I'm screwing this up. I think it was, hang on a second, was it 2021? Yeah, it was 2020, the end of 2020.
So it's the end of
yeah,
COVID, basically,
yes,
right?
yeah, exactly.
of
Well, it's the end of COVID, or so we thought, right? So in January of 2021, we had to close on our house, and our new construction house was still not ready. So now I'm like, what do I do? The people who are buying my house, someone's buying their house. It's like a. So I decided,
effect.
yeah. So I decided and spoke to my family and decided that my wife and kids, let's move into a hotel. It'll be fun. We'll do that for like 3 weeks or a month. That's when our house is going to be ready. We'll have a great time. Thinking I salesed everyone into this great idea. So now we move into a hotel. And the end of the month comes. Of course, we're still in the hotel. It's $6,000 a month for the hotel, $1,500 a month for storage. And and we couldn't use the pool because of COVID. We couldn't.
Oh, that's right.
The continental breakfast was only on the weekend, and you couldn't use the gym. So we were like,
You had to eat with plastic forks.
yeah,
sporks or
exactly. Oh, yeah,
whatever.
we're scarred from plastic forks. That's for sure. Anyhow, so 3 months in, we're still in the hotel. But at that time in 2021, I was really getting concerned. I was still working full time, and I said, you know what? I got to make this real estate thing work. How are we going to pay back this money? Like, how am I going to? We're just going to keep dipping into our profit now that we just made on the house. How is this going to work out? So I started doubling down, like on the real estate. I started working with other agents. I started I was frantic. I really was. I wanted to make this work, and actually it did work out. But what's crazy is 3 months later, our house is just about to be ready.
So now you in a development or?
No, it's just a spot building. I was another agent that I met. He had a builder. I had a client who was buying new construction too. And I was like, he goes, oh, I got a house over here. So we decided, oh yeah, let's do this. We decided to do that. So now 3 months later, we go look at our house. They just completed the floors and they told us we would close like in the next week or two. And we were so excited. We go back to the hotel and our little neighbor, Betty, who is our soon-to-be neighbor, called me to tell me that our house was on fire.
Oh my God! Oh.
Our house was on fire, and we
Oh,
just
you
left.
do have an interesting story here. Holy
we just
shit.
left. It was like an hour later. I'm like, what are you talking about? So now we're driving over there, have no idea what is going on. By the time we get there, the house is engulfed in flames. The fire department was there. I swear, it was just so
Your wife don't
frightening.
smoke, right?
She didn't smoke. But you know what's so funny? We said, this is our house. This is our house. So what do you think happened? We didn't realize the police, the way they pulled us separately, questioning us like as if we blew up our house. I didn't even realize, like, oh my gosh, so what happened was this? And I'm answering all these questions, not realizing that we were being questioned.
You had the light on you.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Handcuff me. No, I'm kidding. I didn't get handcuffed that day, right? So come to find out that what happened was, when they were doing the floors, finishing the floors, the polyurethane rags and sawdust in a bag, tied up in a bag on the porch in the sun, and blew up, destroyed. So, we were able to get most of our money back. We didn't get all of our money back. They still owe me some money, but what am I going to do? Well, somehow it'll work out. So now we had no house.
Uncle Mike.
We had no house. Yeah, we had to make some phone calls, right? So Now we had to find another house. We ended up finding another new construction house. But what's crazy is even that day, my kids are like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I'm like, everyone's drinking tonight. We're going to have sushi in the hotel. That's it.
Crash in the pool.
Yeah,
that's
it.
it.
Yeah, we didn't have a house. We were homeless. We were in contract. We didn't have to worry about insurance or anything, but we had nothing. So now we're in the hotel another, 3 months. We did buy another.
Why didn't you rent at that point? Why wouldn't you go in and
Well,
rent
it's
the
funny
house?
you say that because, we also had 2 dogs. All of our furniture was in storage. We could have or we should have, but it's hard to find a short-term rental that's just going to
And you
allow
think
you
you're
month
day
to
to
month.
day anyway,
Well, I
yeah.
thought at first I thought we'd be there a month.
right.
Now it's 3 months. Now it's like, could we go into a rental? At that point, it's like, you know what? Let's
Screw it.
just ride this out. We had our little routine going on, and we just didn't do that. And actually, there was one rental that I did find. That was like $5,000 a month. But then, we got to pull all of our stuff out of storage. You keep spending money back and forth, and we decided not to do that. So anyhow, so what happened was.
But you wouldn't do it over again. It was a great experience, I'm sure.
Well,
right? When you look
yeah.
back at
So there was a light at the end of the tunnel. Because of that, like I said, I really doubled and tripled down in real estate. The year before, I probably made $40,000 in real estate part-time. But by the time we moved into our house, it was like, I think it was July. It was like July. Around July, we moved in, or August, something like that. And by the end of that year, I made $165,000 in real estate.
Nice.
And I didn't even realize what was happening.
How many transactions?
I think I had 26 transactions, and I still shared money with other agents. I probably had like 8 deals with other agents, because I was trying to, I could not be everywhere. I had a job, and I was number 2 agent in my office at the time. And I was thinking, is anybody else working? Like I work in a full-time job. I'm doing this. And then there was an opportunity for me to come to Keller Williams in the new year. And I decided to take a leap of faith and leave my job and go into real estate full
Was it you that I
time.
told? Number 2 was just the number 1 loser?
Yeah. So when I met you finally, I said we realized we both came from Exit, and I thought I was like, I said, yeah, I was the number 2 agent. You're like, you were the number 1 loser then, right? I'm like,
remember
oh
that?
my gosh.
What a dick.
I was like, wow. Oh yeah, okay. Never thought of that. Thank God I'm not too ultra super hypersensitive. My goodness.
I pissed so many
But yeah,
people
yeah.
off.
But that's okay because guess what? Now I'm with Keller Williams. I just finished my 3rd year with Keller Williams.
Where were you?
I was the number 1 agent in the office. Boop,
God.
because of you.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Good for
Yeah.
you. That's awesome.
So number 1 solo agent for the year.
That's
So let's
awesome.
see, which was really, really exciting. And I have to say, it's amazing to think how full circle I came. And that 1 year, I felt like I turned a tragedy into a triumph.
When did you, let's go back a second. When did you finally move in? How long afterwards?
Oh, after the fire? Like it was 6 months. It was 6
months,
months, I think. Oh, no, not after the fire. After the fire, it was 3 months, but we were already in a hotel for 6 months. I mean, for 3
3
months.
months, so it
Yeah,
took
3
6
months in a hotel and then another 3 months by the time we moved in, which was crazy. So, yeah. So,
What was
but-
the first day like being at home? Was it like
wait, to
lost?
be in the new house?
Yeah, in the new
well,
house.
I was like begging the builder, can we just move in early, please? We don't know you know what? We just moved in.
I don't
we had,
need floors.
We had air mattresses. We didn't. We got some food in the fridge. Yeah, we just hung out, and then the next day we planned the move. Because
Awesome.
couldn't get a mover that quick, easy back in the day. But yeah, so that was really. If that didn't happen, I would not be a full-time real estate agent. Maybe I probably would never have had the will, the want, and the need, and maybe the drive to finally go into real estate full-time. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, because
God has
I
a plan
was
for everybody. That's,
yeah,
it's a journey.
and it's like I loved the career that I was in, but I was tired of begging for a raise. Now I get to determine
money
what
you
I earn, and what I can do. And no one's telling me I have to get to work. I depend on myself. That I have to get up in the morning and get ready. Make contacts, phone calls, whatever. And it's unique, and I do love it. I really, really do enjoy it.
It's so interesting. I'm glad you say that. And I can go in so many different directions right now, trying to figure out which way to go. What made you choose real estate? And I know the story. I get all of that. Why not mortgages? Why not title? Why real estate? What was the attraction?
You know what? This is crazy. I didn't really know anything about mortgages or title or anything. I even feel a little embarrassed to say that when I first got into real estate full time, I was like, oh, yay, I'm a real estate agent. I'm making money. I didn't really understand the business aspect of being, a business person. Like I don't consider myself just a real estate agent. I'm a business owner. Right. I have a full-time assistant now. I do have a real estate coach, a MAPS coach through Keller Williams.
Who's your coach?
Ryan Allen, and she is fabulous.
Okay.
Yeah, so she really kicks my ass, and I have to say, I'm not a good listener, but when I started to get a coach, I was like, I really need someone who's going to be tough on me. I need someone who's going to be tough on me. And she's really helped me. And, we celebrate milestones about how far I've come. And even last year, the year before, how much I really didn't know. So it's helped me. And listen, I had a great experience at Exit. I really, really did. And this is probably not nice to say, but I felt like when I was at Exit, it was like Candyland, and I was having a great time. But Keller Williams is like Monopoly, It's a different game altogether. No insult to Exit.
Sure.
It's just a different world. I feel like, it's a totally different world. And what I've learned and what Keller offers, you really have to take advantage. To me, anybody can succeed. Saying that wrong. Anyone can succeed in this business, but you have to put in the time and the effort.
So, going forward, what is your seeing 2025? What does that look like for you? What's your plans this year?
Yeah, so I already have a few homes in contract from last year.
Let me go back a second.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Do you buy and sell? Do you flip? Are
No,
you
I
into that role?
don't. I don't. But that's something that I'm looking to do probably by the end of the year.
Okay.
I am going to do some investing for sure.
Awesome.
That's my game plan with wanting to do that. I've worked with developers, and there's some other new opportunities I have coming up too with another developer, and just people that I meet. People introduce me to people, and I have to say that alone, I really don't do any investing in lead generation. And I should. Like my coach was even saying to me, we went over my business plan and we went over about what I'm really spending. And she's like, you are like in such a small percentile of what you're spending, my business expenses. And, she's
Good or
telling me,
bad?
good. No, she's like, she doesn't understand. Like, say
you could do it.
10%. She said you should be spending 30% too. And she was actually surprised with how much I've earned with a little bit that I've been
So
investing.
how do you get your business?
Word of mouth,
awesome.
after just mostly my sphere. When I really look at my sphere, I mean, yeah, I was part of a new construction project, and I've met people through there. So that was one aspect. But really, I'd say last year, 80% of my business was my sphere. I have some. There's a lender a preferred lender that I work with, and we work very closely together. Another lender that I'm working with now too. And actually just sphere people that I know.
Working with your vendors and
Yeah, exactly. And my past clients, I just got a call yesterday. A past client of mine referred me to a police officer, so a friend of his. And, I hadn't seen this other client for probably a year, but
awesome.
I touch on my clients too. Like I send
I was
out.
going to ask you, how often do you?
Yeah,
talk to
so
past
a lot of
clients?
times I'm on social media. I'm a social media whore. I'll say that, right? Okay, so I do keep in touch with my clients. But to me, they become like my friends and my family. I like to get together with them every so often. I like to celebrate their milestones if they have a baby or things that are going on. I send out magazines quarterly to them. Last year, actually, it wasn't last year. I think it was the year before. I sent out Starbucks gift cards to all my past clients. So I'm planning on having a cocktail event for my former clients. So I stay in touch with them. I try to.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, I was talking to somebody earlier about events. Are you doing any? Actually, talking to a Coldwell agent earlier about this because we got into the conversation of special open houses and this, and I was telling him about the events that we do. I don't know if you ever
Yeah.
had my mastermind where we're talking about working with the vendors. Have you started doing anything
Well,
like that?
in the summer, I did an ice cream truck open house.
Okay.
So that was fun.
Pretty cool.
I'm not going to say I got a ton of business from it, but I also use it use it on my social media as well. And it's crazy because just from that alone, I probably got about 15 messages from people, just, wow, that was a cool idea. So it's interesting to see that people are watching what I'm doing, and other agents have asked me, what did you do? And I mean, someone I hadn't talked to in like 2 years, but apparently they're watching what I'm doing on social media. So yeah, so people reach out, and I think just staying in touch with people, I always have people asking me I'm just giving out information, whether or not they're going to purchase or rent or invest. I'm always open to sharing information. Like tomorrow night, actually, no, tonight I'm hosting a private Zoom class for a couple of agents, trying to help them with their business getting on track. So I give a lot, I feel like I give a lot. I don't expect things I don't know if I'll ever get into coaching or anything like that, but, I'm always willing to share.
Mm-hmm. What are you looking for your team? I know you said you have
No, I don't have a
assistant.
team.
I know.
Oh, I
you have an
see.
assistant. What are you looking to do? Are you looking to leverage and create a team?
Yeah, I
Not
feel
looking
like
for
I'm
that?
going to have to. That's something we were talking about, my coach and I. She's like, you're not going to be able to do this all on your own, the way that I'm going.
How many transactions are you doing roughly?
I think, over last year, I think I did like 32 maybe or
It's about
something.
time we're gonna have to get
Yeah,
some-
so
Good thing is you got the assistant.
yeah, and I have some off-market listings, but that's I'm including. I was including those deals. Yeah, having an assistant really keeps me on track because she starts at 9:00, so I have to make sure I'm available at 9:00 as well. Make sure and it's not like we're talking all day.
Sure.
But it kind of pushes me.
In person or
No, she's a cyberbacker.
cyberbacker?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it pushes me to keep myself. What I do like is having the assistant. I've created a lot of checklists too. So, having a buyer consultation. I have an ultimate guide to buying a home, an ultimate guide to selling your home. Whenever my clients are moving, I give them a utilities checklist. I give them a change of address checklist to kind of keep them on track. And I feel like for me, that's how what I would want, and I feel that my clients really do appreciate that. They're prepared.
So this checklist, what does that look like? Well, again, I don't mean to sound like an idiot here,
no,
but what's
no
that
worries.
checklist?
All right, so like the ultimate guide to buying a home, it's really just going to basically go through everything, what the expectations are. I need to have
This is
an
buying a
understand-
home.
to buying a home.
You have one for selling a home also?
One for selling a home too, what the expectations are for selling a home. Get them familiar with the language of real estate or the process of once we put in an offer, what to expect, down payment. When we have the buyer consultation, we're getting an understanding. Let's face it, not everybody knows how to buy a home, and not everybody knows how to sell a home. And people who bought and sold homes, it's been a long time, I want them to be aware. So it's not a surprise when I tell them, listen, we want to get this, we got an accepted offer. We want to get inspection right away. I don't want them to be surprises that this is something we talked about, and I want you to have an understanding of that. And that's another thing with my clients. Like I really, I had a couple of deals where they didn't get the home, and the offer was accepted. We had the inspection. The deal fell through, whether or not the agent accepted another offer. And I'm the type of agent who'll say, you know what? It is what it is. I'll try and get the money back from the other agent and be like, that was really not good business. And if we don't get it back, then I'll just pay for the next inspection. I'll do things like that because I want people to feel. I always give the attention, respect, and time to my clients that I would want. I'm a little bit extra. You know this. I'm a little extra. Yeah. So I want people to have a good experience.
I think we're a lot alike, too, where I think we see the bigger picture. Like, I was just saying this, I don't know if it was here or a couple of days ago, we were talking about, like, somebody asked me my position, like, who's your client? Obviously, the client is the buyers and the sellers, right?
Right.
Obviously. But my client is really the agents. Right,
exactly.
And I look at it, if we take care of the agents, the buyers and sellers are taken care of.
Exactly.
Right, because if you're happy as that agent, leadership is taking care of you. That means that the main people are definitely taken care of, and it just works in that it's always the same.
For sure.
Take care. And I just feel that, and I think you do a lot of this too. Is you're paying so much attention to the day to day for your people.
Oh, for sure.
Right. So, what goes into that? Like, is that mostly you? Is that your assistant now? Like, what goes into that mind frame for you? Like, how'd you get that type of mind frame where it's always a service-oriented business, right?
Well, it's interesting because my background, like I said, I was a personal trainer and I owned a personal training business. I worked at the diamond store, which is service business. I was in the matchmaking business, which is, service business. I was a secretary, which was different, but at least I have that office experience.
Service, yep.
Yeah. Working as a director of career services, I was one-to-one, belly-to-belly with people with, helping them find jobs. So it's really crazy or interesting and unique to think how my life has come full circle for me to have an understanding that, you want to give that personal attention to people.
Looking back, silly question, I guess. Looking back, would you do anything different?
No, I really wouldn't, and I used to get frustrated to think that, I'm going from this job and I'm going from this and I'm doing this. And actually, and also being a holistic health coach and just like, oh, guys, I used to get frustrated to think like, will I ever find what I should I go back to school? Should I get a degree? You know what? I have no regrets now at this point because I realize that my life has changed so much, but I also feel it's going in a direction. Like I just feel more secure and more confident in my abilities, and I love working for myself. I never made over $100,000. It's like
awesome.
It took, a really long time for that to happen. And when I did, I was working another job at the time. And now it's like increased exponentially. To me, it can
awesome.
Yeah, like last year was considered not a very good year for some agents. And I was making double the amount that I did the year before. It's just mind blowing in ways.
So getting back to that question, I'm sorry, we got to wrap this up. Again, I could talk for hours with you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's insane. We're definitely having you back.
Okay.
Where do you see yourself in 2025 again? You got your assistant, business-wise, and I'm not going to hold you to it.
Yeah, for sure.
What's it look like? How many sales? How many?
Gosh, you know what?
Going to hit 500,000? You're going to hit?
I think that's the goal. That's the goal, actually. It's not really I don't always like to talk about money, but
of course, I get it.
So that's the goal, and I want to be able to invest. By next year, the end of the year, invest. Not necessarily in New York, though. I will either I'm doing flips or rentals. Definitely have got a vision, and I've got goals.
If you had to invest, where would it be? Have you been looking into it yet, or you just starting?
Yeah, out of state for sure.
Are you looking where Frank was going, Indiana?
I have no idea what Frank's doing. to be honest
And
with you.
Indiana. I thought you were part of
Okay.
like listening to.
No.
Yeah, he's now in Pennsylvania, Indiana.
Okay. Yeah, Indiana is a target. My coach is in Indiana.
Oh, she is?
Yeah, she lives in Indiana. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So you have the
that's
inside scoop
interesting.
there.
Yeah.
What part
exactly.
of Indiana? You know?
I don't know.
That's good.
I can't tell.
My family's from Fort Wayne.
Really? I don't think she's from Fort Wayne. I know she bought a new house, and so there's really no house near her house. You know, she's got like 17 acres or something like that.
I was just down there in the summer. Not to get off track here. I was just down there. I had to go.
Wait, your family's from Fort Wayne, not the Amato side.
Not the Amato
I was
side,
gonna
no, the
say
Bain
it
side.
doesn't sound right.
No. They were corrupting farms
Yeah, I
if
was
they
gonna
were.
say, yeah.
But so I was down there, and I remember driving. I was talking to my uncle who was in the car ahead of me on the phone. I'm like, where the fuck is this house? And we're driving. All you see is tracks, train tracks, and farm, and then the house, and it's just surrounded by acres and acres and
crazy.
acres. And I'm just like, what are we having for dinner tonight? Obviously corn, because it's,
exactly.
it's all,
Right.
you're definitely having that, But it's so crazy how much land is really out there and how much, development you can really do out there, which is nuts,
Yeah.
So, again, definitely going to have you back in a couple of months, maybe even a couple of weeks. Looking forward to watching you grow.
Thank you
I'm
so much.
so grateful for you.
Thank you for your support always.
I'm always there for you. You know that. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing and watching you grow and to see where you end up. I'm always there. And if there's anything I could ever do for you, I'm here for you because we're related. So we got to deal with that.
Yeah.
Love you.
Somehow.
Thank you so much
Thanks,
for
Rich.
coming in.
Thanks
Bye.
for your time.
Yeah.
Bye.